Y'all hit that like button for this true patriot right here, baby. Yeah. Woo! It's time.
I'm proud of what I fought for. I'm not going to back down from them one bit. I will answer all of these senators' questions, but this will not be a process tried in the media. I don't answer to anyone in this group. None of you. Not to that camera at all. I answer to President Trump, who received 76 million votes on behalf and a mandate for change. I answer to the 100 senators who are part of this process and those in the committee. And I answer to my Lord and Savior and my wife and my family. I'm proud to be here. And as long as Donald Trump wants me in this fight, I'm going to be standing right here in this fight, fighting to bring our Pentagon back to what it needs to be.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete.
I'm proud of what I've. You fight.
Telling y'all,
you go
this who
through
y'all
tough
want in
things
there.
and tough places on behalf of your country, and sometimes that changes you a little bit. And by the grace of God and my Lord and Savior, I had an opportunity to come on up out of it and do great things with great veterans organizations that fought for vets, that fought for reform at the VA and for war fighters, and at the Fox News Channel to advocate for those very same causes. And I'm proud of what I fought for. I'm not going to back down from them one bit. I will answer all of these senators' questions, but this will not be a process tried in the media.
Let's talk briefly about John Cornyn, Joni Ernst, not specifically, but there are some of the two that have come out to the press as of late and not said no on Pete Hegseth, but said, no, we're not convinced on Pete Hegseth. Can you talk me through the what that hesitation would be at the moment? There seems to be quite a bit of attention on Joni Ernst, Lindsey Graham, John Cornyn.
Yeah, look, I can't speak for any one of my colleagues. I don't know exactly where they are on this, and so I'm not going to try to speak to that. What I can say is that there are a number of circumstances where members will want the process to play out, and they'll want to make sure that somebody goes through the confirmation process to ask them questions. That's reasonable. That's understandable. I think most of the time, most of those people among Republicans are going to get to the right answer. All we need to do is to get a simple majority, and we get them confirmed. Now, I hope, I expect, I wish, I want all of my colleagues to vote to confirm both Pete and Cash. We need both of them, and I implore all of my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats, to vote to confirm them. That said, the fact that somebody isn't yet ready to say how they will vote, especially if there's an interesting set of questions they want to ask at a confirmation hearing or prior to the confirmation hearing, those two things shouldn't be confused. So I wish I could speak more as to what their intentions are, but I don't know what their plan is.
Do you believe that Pete Hegseth will be confirmed by majority in the Senate?
I do. One of the reasons is, it's one thing separate and apart from whether somebody's just hesitating and whether they have a practice of allowing somebody to go through the committee process before weighing in. It's one thing for people to say they might have concerns or they might be reluctant to vote for somebody. It's quite another to vote not to confirm a nominee from your own president on a high-profile, prominent cabinet-level position or important sub-cabinet position like FBI director. They're very different things. We got to be very careful here not to allow any very small group of Republican senators to exercise a de facto veto at the outset without ever having to go to the floor and man up, woman up, whatever you want to call it, by actually voting no. Those are two very different things. And I think some of those who may have expressed reluctance publicly or privately or both are going to find that it's much more difficult on a high-profile, important, personally imperative appointment like these ones to vote no.
Hi, my name is Karen Vaughn, and I am the Gold Star mother of fallen U.S. Navy SEAL Aaron Vaughn. Aaron was a member of SEAL Team 6 and was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2011. Shortly after his death, I became engaged with Concerned Veterans for America and joined their Defend Freedom tour, along with Pete Hegseth and many others. So I can tell you that I have been a close friend of Pete's for over 10 years, and the allegations about him are completely bogus and outrageous, honestly. I am now a speaker for the American Warrior Initiative, and I travel across the nation continuing to talk about the cost of freedom. And I just want to say that I've been on Fox multiple times. I've been in Pete's presence multiple times in the last 10 years, even since I left the Concerned Veterans for America organization. And Pete is as good as they come. Pete was born for this job. And all of the stuff that's going around about him right now, I can 100% adamantly deny Pete is a good man. He was actually born for this job. And I cannot imagine the relief that Blue Star mothers across this nation will feel when they know that their sons and daughters' lives are in the hands of somebody like Pete, who has actually had boots on the ground, who didn't sit back in Washington and make rules for the lower than him. He's been there. He's fought alongside the people that he will now represent. And this is a very big deal. Please disregard the things that you were hearing about this man. It is insanity. He is a good man.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look at that, y'all. Man, that's what I'm talking about right there, man. Beautiful. The American dream, baby. Y'all hit that like button for Pete, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below about all this, man. Comment down below for Pete, man, and Trump's cabinet right now. We are in December, y'all. This thing's getting spicier and spicier, man. And there's a lot going on, man, you know, and it's honestly just a disgrace. Some of the things that have come out, that are being said, how the media is portraying things. I mean, it's just a disgrace, man. It really is, y'all. But I keep telling y'all, we continue to fight and watch how this thing plays out. Watch how this thing plays out, man. For the Trump administration. Watch how it plays out.
My name is Sean Bryan. I served as the captain for New Mexico's Vets for Freedom under the leadership of Pete Hegseth. As a Marine, it was always an honor for me to represent our warriors and to follow Pete's leadership. I even followed his leadership all the way to Iraq to observe the surge. And as we were there, his bravery and character were just amazing. To watch him interact from generals to lower enlisted Marine soldiers, sailors, he wanted to talk to anybody he could get in front of. As we came home, his interactions with the Gold Star families and the true love that he had for not just the warriors, but for the families who had given the sacrifices really affected me. And over the years, Pete has always been there, no matter what was going on. If there was a warrior, somebody that was down, Pete's always been that true American patriot that wants to be there and support however he can. And I, for one, would be honored to know that he became the Secretary of Defense. Thank you.
Well, I did have a very long, lengthy discussion with Pete yesterday, and I do appreciate his service to the nation. I also am a combat veteran. So we talked about a number of those issues, and we will continue with the vetting process. I think that is incredibly important. So again, all I'm saying is we had a very frank and productive discussion, and I know that we will continue to have conversation in the upcoming months.
Is there a date certain for his confirmation hearing?
I have not heard that yet. The incoming chairman will be Senator Roger Wicker, and so that will be established between the chair, I am understanding, and the nominee.
Okay, it doesn't sound on your answer that you've gotten to a yes. If I'm wrong about that, correct me. And if that is the case, it sounds to me as if the hearing will be critical for his nomination. Am I right about that?
I think you are right. I think for a number of our senators, they want to make sure that any allegations have been cleared, and that's why we have to have a very thorough vetting process. And that's why I was happy to sit down with Pete and have that conversation with him yesterday. So again, all I will say at this time is that we did have a very thorough discussion over a number of those issues, and the vetting will continue, I am certain, through the next month or so until we approach that hearing.
I've known Pete for a long time. I served with him in Afghanistan. The people over there said nothing but great things about him. The allegations against Pete are all anonymous sources. I am not going to make any decision based on an anonymous source. If you're not willing to raise your hand under oath and make the accusation, it doesn't count. I've heard everything about all these people. None of it counts. No rumors, no innuendo.
But you were there for the Kavanaugh hearings.
I've seen this movie before.
Boy, oh boy, now y'all got to hear this.
You never in a million years thought you would be doing this.
No.
Because you didn't realize that this email you wrote in 2018, somebody leaked it to the New York Times.
Correct.
And they printed it.
Correct.
I'm going to read part of it. You say, this is to Pete, during the 2018 divorce. You say, I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, and sleeps around. And you go on and say, you are that man and have been for years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is a sad, sad truth. You say, we still love you, but we are broken by your behavior and your lack of character.
Mm-hmm.
When you wrote that, what's the backstory? What was going on that made you so angry you wanted to write that?
Well, I will tell that story in a moment, but let me make two statements first, and one is to President Trump. And I want to say thank you for your belief in my son. We all believe in him. We really believe that he is not that man he was 7 years ago. I'm not that mother. And I hope people will hear that story today and the truth of that story. So the other thing I want to say is I am here to tell the truth. To tell the truth to the American people and tell the truth to the senators on the Hill, right, especially our female senators. I really hope that you will not listen to the media and that you will listen to Pete.
Well, and you're here to tell us, because you are in the news now. So why did you write that email in 2018?
Right. Well, what
was going on?
Right. Let's go back 7 years, which if we all went back 7 years, we would see that maybe we were not the people we are today. But they were going through, Pete and his wife at the time were going through a very difficult divorce. It was a very emotional time, and I'm sure many of you across the country understand how difficult divorce is on a family. There's emotions. We say things, and I wrote that in haste. I wrote that with deep emotions. I wrote that as a parent, and about 2 hours later, I should. My husband tells me I should think through things a little bit more, but Pete and I are both very passionate people. I wrote that out of love, and about 2 hours later, I retracted it with an apology email, but nobody's seen that. So it was a difficult time. I want to say something about the media, and part of today is to discredit the media and how they operate. When they contact you, I let a few phone calls go, but then they call you and say they threaten you. That's the first thing they do. Right. They say, unless you make a statement, we will publish it as is. And I think that's a despicable way to treat anyone. Threats are dangerous, and they're hard on families.
So to recap, you were angry about what was going on, his behavior during the divorce. Right. And so you wrote that email. And then, a couple hours later, you apologized, and you guys talked, and you worked it out?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pete and I are very close today. In fact, our whole family is very tight-knit. But I think that we as parents, we always parent.
No, I get it.
I mean, and that was 7 years ago. I want to talk in a minute about who Pete is today.
Right. There are, and you wanted to come on to talk a little bit, and you mentioned a moment ago the media scrutiny. There are allegations of sexual assault, excessive alcohol use, infidelity, financial mismanagement. As a parent, that's really hard to hear.
Right. Well, our job as parents are to correct. They are to speak truth. And I am a passionate person like Pete, and sometimes emotional words come out. I don't believe any of that is true, any of it. And I'm here. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today if I didn't believe that about my son.
Right. How's the family holding up?
Oh, we're okay. We have a deep, deep faith. Not only in each other, but in God. And our friends have been amazing. The support we've been receiving has been amazing. So we're trusting in our God and in our faith and in our family.
Mm-hmm. What do you say to people who have read the stuff about Pete or heard the stuff about Pete? You're here, you said he has changed.
Oh. Absolutely.
How do you convince people of that?
Okay, well, I start with 4 things. First, I have a very intelligent son. I have a leader son. I've known that since he was 2. He went to Princeton and Harvard. By the way, he returned the Harvard diploma, but I wouldn't let him return the Princeton because I worked too hard. For that one, so that one's going to stay. That's on his wall. He's written 2 New York Times bestsellers. What mother can say that? And one of them is about war and defense. So he already has a playbook. So you talk about experience. He's also put his life on the line twice overseas for our country, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. I'm a very proud Blue Star mom. There it is, right there. And he's still a warrior. And that's why he's still fighting. That's why we're all still fighting, because we believe in the good.
You know, and